Nintendo has never been one to shy away from making games based off a strange premise. Take the Donkey Kong series for example. A series based around the villain of one of their first titles swinging his way through the jungles, factories, mines, and even lagoons in order to regain his stolen bananas from crocodiles. Yeah, video games tend to get strange once you start analyzing them. But, despite a strange premise, if you manage to add good graphics and strong gameplay, not to mention replayability to the mix, then you just may be onto something. The Donkey Kong series has seen 15 separate official titles spanning across most Nintendo platforms. But in this review, I'm going to be taking a look at an even stranger DK title with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Released in 2004, this was the only DK platformer to be released for the GameCube, and it released to very high critical acclaim. In fact, as a small aside, this was the first title to receive the ESRB rating of E10. But now for the question. What are my thoughts on this Return to the Jungle? Well, let's swing on and find out. This game is somewhat of a prequel, as our hero's objective is to fight his way through various kingdoms in order to make a name for himself as King of the Jungle. Yep, that's about it for the story. So, let's move on to the gameplay. This is where it gets fun. For those of you who don't know, this game, along with Donkey Konga 1 through 3, took advantage of the newly minted DK Bongo controllers. You heard me. You play this game with a set of bongos. Stop looking at me like that. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering just how exactly you play a platformer with bongos. Well, here's how this works. In order to move to the left, you tap the left bongo. To move right, you tap the right bongo. In order to jump, you press both at the same time. In order to grab onto items and enemies, you clap your hands. Or hit the sides of the drums. Or make any noise, really. So, if someone in other rooms hears you play this, they'll hear pounding and clapping, and will be very confused. Each kingdom consists of 2 levels and a boss fight. As you progress through each level, there will obviously be platforming, enemies to fight, and true to the DK series, animals to ride. Also true to the DK series, you will collect bananas on your travels, named beats in this game. These beats make up for your accumulated health. Getting hit or falling down pits will subtract from your total beats. Your beats are added up between these 2 levels, and however many you have left will then be used against your current boss. These boss fights require the use of all tactics in order to defeat them, and they do vary from kingdom to kingdom. From a punch-out style boxing match, to fighting a giant vulture, to even fighting mechanical elephants. The bosses themselves don't have much variety, but each time you think you're facing a familiar foe, the stakes become much higher as they change tactics on you, and will destroy you if you become careless. At the end of each kingdom, your total beats are added up and will determine whether you receive a bronze, silver, or gold medal. Each kingdom is unlocked after you obtain a certain amount of medals, and there are overall 16 kingdoms, totaling 32 levels in which to complete. Now for the reviewing. Aesthetically speaking, these graphics are fantastic. There was a great amount of detail put into not only the environments, but also the enemies, and even DK himself. Whether you're swinging through the jungles, fighting your way up a war-torn hill, or even swimming through Jello, remember what I said about this game being strange? You can rest assured that this game will make for some fantastic visuals. As for the gameplay, well, I can't explain how they did it, but somehow the developers managed to make a platforming game with bongos actually work. There is no lag when pounding on the drums, nor is there any delay when clapping. As you can see by the gameplay, playing this title is extremely smooth, and as long as you can keep a decent rhythm, you shouldn't have too much trouble. The only real issues I have with this game are twofold. As I've mentioned, the bosses are very heavily recycled. In fact, there are only 4 boss types overall. Now, there is a decent variety considering the bosses change up quite frequently, as do their tactics, but I would have preferred a bit more variety. The only other qualm I have with the game is that it's actually fairly short. Let's put it this way, I managed to beat the majority of this game in one sitting, equaling roughly 3 to 4 hours. But despite its brevity, can I recommend this unorthodox venture into the jungles of Donkey Kong Country? Absolutely. This is a prime example of a premise that sounds absolutely bonkers on paper, but is fantastic in execution. So if you're interested in playing this on the GameCube, you can usually find a game and bongo combination for around 20 bucks. This game was also re-released on the Wii, but keep in mind that you can no longer use the bongos to play. So, until next time, this is E-Dog, King of the Jungle. See you next time.